we build fast. We're very focused on building, things that bring value to customers. We understand AI, we understand mainframe. Altogether, that's the secret sauce, and that's how the magic happens.
I'm here today with Geniez AI creator, Gil Peleg. Thank you for joining me today.
Great to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
It's so good to see you again. When we last talked, it was at GS UK, late last fall, I guess, and I've heard some great things since then. So why don't you give us an update? But maybe first, tell us more about Geniez AI, or give someone who didn't hear from us before an idea of what you do.
Yeah, sure. So maybe just real quick to introduce myself. So I'm Gil. I've been in the mainframe world now 27 years. Some people know me. I was the founder of Model 9, a company that connected mainframes with cloud storage. It was acquired by BMC. Since then I left BMC and we started Geniez. At Geniez we focus on bringing generative AI to the mainframe. Yeah.
Great. And I think that Geniez AI is such a unique tool. It's doing a lot of things that are very important to people working on mainframe, but isn't trying to drastically change things. Tell me what Geniez AI does in a very simplistic way.
Yeah, so as I said, at a high level, it's generative AI for mainframe. What does that mean? We focus on bringing the latest innovation in the Gen AI space. So we see, it's like a race out there. We see every week new announcement, new models, new capabilities in the AI world. And we're about bridging that into mainframe. Our interpretation of that is building AI assistants that help mainframe professionals in their day-to-day jobs, building developer tools that help developers gain back hours of work and just build up their code more efficiently. And we're also helping companies who already have some AI applications make these applications mainframe aware by connecting them to the mainframe.
Well, there's definitely been a lot of talk about AI in the mainframe in recent months. Give me your take on the amount of this that's chatter, that's real, and what you're hearing.
So I think it's a very timely question. Just yesterday we've seen a big announcement from Anthropic causing, trouble to some enterprise stocks in the industry. I think, maybe it's worth mentioning specifically about Geniez what we don't do. We've said right from the start, we're not going to do code. I think the instinct for many people when they hear generative AI is how can we modernize code, especially in the mainframe space. There's always been discussions about modernization of applications. So when a large AI provider such as Anthropic suddenly announce, oh, we support COBOL, and most of the application code on the mainframe runs on COBOL, it raises eyebrows, and there's a feeling of disruption. So our interpretation to that is, we don't focus on code. We think that our approach has always been that code is sort of being commoditized. If we look at the players in the industry today doing code modernization, it's very few mainframe vendors actually. So we see Amazon, we see Microsoft Copilot, we see Anthropic now, we've seen Google Gemini. So our approach was, we're gonna leave that to the big guys. We're gonna focus on what we're good at, and that's mainframe unique capabilities. So we're putting code aside. Anybody can do code now. If all your AI product does is, shipping code to an AI model, maybe you have a problem. But we focus on how we get unique mainframe data that's very hard, very different, that most companies don't know how to do. We focus on that, bringing that to the AI world. And that combination has proven for us very sustainable, and so far we haven't seen a non-mainframe player that's playing in that area.
Well, I think one of the things that's interesting to me is, let's go back 5 years ago, and the idea of mainframe modernization basically meant you're leaving the mainframe. And it was every vendor's keyword, mainframe modernization, and they just meant, we're gonna help you leave the mainframe. And what I saw in a recent research report we did was that mainframe modernization now means I'm going to use my mainframe in a modern way. I'm going to bring in modern tools to complement it. I'm going to use modern technologies all over the place, but with my mainframe. And I think that's a great evolution for us. Tell me a little bit about the people that you've talked to. I know you've been doing a lot of outreach and talking to a lot of customers and potential customers about the product. What are you hearing?
So I think definitely AI plays a major role now with, in compared to 5 years ago, when we say modernization of any platform, especially the mainframe. And we're here at Share, so we hear a lot about how to simplify the platform, how to onboard new technologies to the platform. Not hearing as much as I would like about AI yet, but I think some people's instinct is that, oh, AI is here to replace me. And at least for us at Geniez, we're not about that at all. I would even go to an extreme and say, we don't know how to build yet a tool that will replace such experienced people with, decades of experience on the mainframe platform. We are trying to build or leverage AI to build tools that help people do their job faster, remove, the boring stuff, and enable the experienced people to bring their experience, but without doing the meticulous, boring stuff. On the other hand, we have the juniors who are, joining the platform. We want to help them to onboard faster, to become more productive faster, and when they're talking to their managers, to their seniors, to already have, information to share. So that's where we see AI especially becoming helpful. And, when we speak to mainframe shops, they're already using AI, okay? Maybe not on the mainframe, but in their shops. You see these public announcements, OpenAI, Anthropic. All the customers we speak to already are using, one of the large model providers in their organization, and they're thinking what's the right way to connect the mainframe to these initiatives as well.
So I think there's a lot of application for AI, obviously, but some of it feels more superficial than others. Tell me, what y'all are doing that sets you apart, because I know I've seen basically just AI chatbots thrown on, and it's like, but is this valuable? I feel like y'all are delivering something that, to your point about experts and junior people being able to use it, has real value.
Yeah, so first of all, what we try to create is a single place where a mainframe professional can use, come and benefit and see their whole mainframe platform from a single place. And that means that we need to sort of get all the AI capabilities into that one portal, instead of a professional having to use, that AI tool and that AI tool, and maybe this is for CICS and this is for my development tools and all this stuff. So we're trying to bring the professional into a single pane of glass where all the AI capabilities will be delivered through. And where we specialize is we go to probably the most challenging, but on the other hand, most interesting data sources on the mainframe, such as your live SMF stream, your console messages, your syslog, your Opera log, your job outputs. And we're able to read that in real time. Once you ask a question, you ask a query, we read that in real time. We take it off the mainframe to our framework, we build a picture in memory, and that picture is what enables the model to provide a very accurate and helpful response based on your own data. So it's maybe worth explaining that we don't require you to train the model on mainframe data. Our responses, our product responses are based on the actual factual data that we extract from your system. We're not trying to build an Ask Me Anything product, like what is this message code? You can do this today with ChatGPT, with Anthropic Claude, you don't need me for that. But if you want to ask, why is my CICS slow? And maybe you suspect it's a DB2 locking issue. If you want to understand that through a chat interface in natural language, you ask our Genie. We go to the mainframe, we extract the CICS information, the DB2 details, we check performance, we check statistics, we combine that with, the messages in the log, all that stuff. We compose a response based on your true environment. And that's something you can't train a model to, because that's real-time occurrences in your system. And that's something that the models will not have access to, because you need to be running on the mainframe and understanding the depth and, special technologies and data structures and complexities of the mainframe.
I would imagine by taking that load off of someone, that amount of analysis, that then they have so much extra time day to day. You're freeing up a real expert's ability to do other things. What are they doing with their extra time?
So we actually see the impact in 3 areas. One is gaining back time. So, almost anybody we speak to, they're super busy. They have a backlog. They want to get more done. And we're helping them. We've seen in some shops, we're saving on average, an hour a day to a mainframe developer. Multiply that by 500 developers, that's 500 hours a day. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's huge savings. That's, 10,000 a month. So it's huge time gained back, and they can do more. Another benefit that we see is actually around, avoiding costs. So when we hear all the time from companies that, they see their systems are, overloaded. Things are slow. Something is, slower than usual. And they have to try and understand what's going on. Some companies, when it's, markets opening hours, they don't have time to, take hours to look at reports and understand what's going on. They add capacity immediately. But if you go to our Genie and you say, what's running in the system now? Why is CICS slow? In a matter of minutes, you get a picture. Oh, there's a batch that didn't complete. There's something still occupying DB2. And you can tackle that immediately. You avoid adding this extra capacity. You avoid costs. And maybe the last thing on the same line is, just diagnosing problems faster. So we know that downtime is super expensive in money, in reputation. And if you have a situation developing and you can use AI to diagnose that, you can speak to it, you can say, you can start for something generic as, why is the system slow? And you can go as technical as, oh, show me the locking status on my DB2 query, and it just reduces the downtime, which saves you money. So all these benefits around gaining time back, avoiding spending costs, and minimizing downtimes are real benefits that we see from our clients.
I think what's especially important is you're not taking away the autonomy, or you're not giving full autonomy to an AI. You're still allowing the people that know their systems to be in control.
Yeah, and almost any client that we speak to, and I get it, they're first of all, they're cautious. They have mission critical applications running on the mainframe. You don't treat this, lightly. Second, anything new you bring into your environment, you want to gain trust in it. So we are not building completely autonomous tools. On the contrary, we are building reactive tools that when you ask a question, only then they go to the system, they check, they gather all the information from all the various data sources and compose a response. But what we have seen that sometimes is not enough. Just when someone asks a question and just gets back an answer, the answer is 42. What does that mean to me? So what we have actually added is 2 things. One, we share the reasoning of the model. So you can see where we got the information from. So we will tell you, oh, this CICS metrics we took from SMF record subtype, and you will, if you're a mainframe person, you know, oh, that's really where this information is. So if it says it took it from there, it gives me more confidence in the response. So we are sharing every step that we do, so you know what's happening, and it helps customers with, you know, trusting the responses more. And second, while we explain where we got the data from, and we do share, you know, the data, so it's CPU consumption and IO rates and all these metrics and, you know, bits and bytes, at the end we will always provide also an explanation in natural language, in words, that says what does that mean. Okay, so you see this high CPU consumption there, what could that mean? And it helps, if you're a professional, it helps you understand better what you're saying. But also if you're junior, if you just started on the platform and maybe you're not sure what that metrics means, you have, you know, pointers, you have explanation on what to do with this information. Maybe you can share this with a colleague, or you can look it up somewhere, or it helps you understand what to ask next to continue the discussion.
Interesting. You're talking about this tool that's getting this data from the mainframe, but I know people are pretty cautious about the security aspect. So tell me about the data movement and where it lives and where it goes.
Yeah, that comes up with every customer discussion, and you know, we actually we saw that coming, I have to say. Okay, obviously, AI models, mainframes, you know, it's got to be tight security controls. So we started from a security architecture. That's what we designed first. We patented that architecture, by the way. And it's based around a few principles. First of all, every query, everything that we gather on your behalf runs on your user ID on the mainframe. So it's all RACF controlled. So if you trust your security products, RACF, Top Secret, ACF2, that's, you know, you should be trusting our architecture, because we're not this super user ID that can do anything. On the contrary, our user ID cannot do anything, and we encourage our clients not to give it any permissions. We run on the end user's ID, and only what that user ID can do is what we will be able to retrieve for them. So if they can't read a DB2 table, it won't be able to read that DB2 table for them. Even if they ask, it will try and say, you know what, I'm not authorized to do that. You are not authorized to do that. So it's all RACF controlled. Another thing that we're doing is to minimize the attack surface. Okay, so we know attackers can be very sophisticated these days, and we can't necessarily foresee any possible attack, but we can try to reduce the risk. So as part of this risk reduction, we are not requiring any elevated privileges for our product. So we are not APF authorized. We don't use a Unix super user or a UID 0. So it's a standard user ID on the mainframe with very minimal privileges. So that's very unique about the architecture as well. And maybe finally, I would just say, you know, for some clients, the AI models are on premises, but actually a good piece of them are actually using models in the cloud, such as OpenAI and Anthropic. And in our architecture, you don't have to open any network access from the outside to your mainframe. So all data communication goes from the mainframe outside, and that really helps customers, that they know that from a network perspective, there's nothing coming inbound into the mainframe.
So I would assume with the security that if a company has that security and it's appropriate for them, it applies here, and that's great. How are you managing different governance and compliance standards that your clients may have?
So beyond the data security itself, in many industries, there are issues about data privacy. Okay, so, you know, personally identifiable information, credit card numbers, things like that, that even if you have, as an admin, maybe you have access, you don't want that leaking out to, externally. So for these customers, we have added a capability to filter out PII information, and that has been proven, is something that, very helpful for them to deploy the product and use it in, environments with real customer data.
I want to talk a little bit about implementation, because whenever a company is interested in a new software, a new tool, how much is it going to cost? How long is it going to take? How many people do I need to put on this? So tell me a little bit about your installation and what you're seeing and what the feedback is.
So first of all, what I would say is that, a key design principle for us is that customers should get to value very, very quickly. And we're also trying to design a product that's, that works in practically any customer environment. So to do that, we really focused on minimizing prerequisites. Very large customers are up and running in a day. And we had this experience with a customer who prepared some prompts they want to enter into the chat as a POC. And we worked with them to set up the product, and then we met on a Zoom call to support them with the test. So we all get on the Zoom call and we share the screen, and the customer types in the prompt. It was about show me the monthly peak for our window. So he types in, show me the monthly peak, and it takes a few minutes, 2 minutes, the product comes back and says, okay, between this and that time frame was your monthly peak. And then they type in, okay, so show me the top CPU consuming jobs. That took another minute. It shows the response. We're 3 minutes in, the POC has completed. Okay, they got the response, they see the jobs, the POC completed. And then someone on the call said, oh, but we wanted to see CPU percentage. So I'm like, okay, ask the model to add percentage. And they're like, okay, add percentages too. That took another 5 seconds. Yeah. And then there's like quiet on the call, and yeah, we've proven the value. So that's what we wanted, real quick time to value, real quick implementation, minimum prerequisites. Practically any mainframe environment can have this up and running in hours to a day.
So that's really impressive about how fast you were able to show the customer that proof of concept that it was working. I'm curious, with the amount of information that the tool puts out, how does it work with observability or monitoring tools? How does it work within the systems?
So it complements and works alongside them. It's a completely different user experience. Okay, when you use a monitor, you typically see a bunch of numbers and lists and tables and graphs. And even with graphs, we hear from customers that they don't always understand what the graphs means. So our approach has been to take the system monitoring, the observability, the analysis, the troubleshooting to a chat, to natural language, type discussion, where you will ask in words, what do you want to see? Most of the time, you don't want to see a long list of numbers and job names. You want something that's troubling you. The system is slow. Some job is consuming running too long or consuming too many resources. So ask that specifically. So the chat interface enables you to be very specific about what you ask. But when we take that question and we go query the data on the mainframe, we will bring back, the answer to your question, but some more information around it. So, if you want to go a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, you want to see a little bit more information in that area because it makes sense. That's how we will help you, and that's something that's different from your traditional monitor. Another thing that I would add is that, there are monitors for CICS, there are monitors for MQ, there are monitors for DB2. Our approach is, you get everything from a single window. You don't have to context switch between tools. So if you're an operator or a system programmer and you ask a question, you will get all the information about your system, about your DB2, about your CICS, all in one place. If you're a developer and you compile a program and you want to check why it failed, or what went wrong, or if there was an abandoned code, you do everything from within your IDE. You don't need to switch to the 3270 and go back, or to another tool and come back. So the idea has been to bring all the information to you through a chat interface.
And is there a particular type of organization that gets the fastest ROI here?
I think the bigger the company is, the more complex the environment, the impact would be more substantial. Because if it's a small company, maybe you have a smaller team and people control more and know more of the system. But at the larger organizations, there are performance departments and system departments and security departments. And we hear from customers all the time that when there's a system issue, like a war room situation, everybody comes on the line, everybody's asking a million questions, all the managers want to know now what's going on. So actually in these situations, for everybody to share a screen, open the chat and say what's going on in the system, why is it slow, and for it to say, okay, it's slow because CICS is doing that and there's a batch here and DB2 is locked up, and all these things, it really helps organize and explain everybody, align everybody on what's happening real quick.
So looking ahead, tell me where you see this evolving, maybe in a year.
So I think, we live in exciting times. And, as I said in the beginning of this conversation, the AI world is evolving in, lightning speed. And every week we hear about new announcements. So I don't know what will be in the AI space a year from today, but it is our mission to bring that to the mainframe. So we are constantly looking at new technologies and agentic capabilities and skills and the latest models to bring that into the mainframe world. I've just seen Anthropic announced the 4.6 models last week. We already support that, and we already have customers using that. So we try to keep up with the AI world, and in a year from today, we'll be bringing what's been released a week before a year from today. That will be supported for mainframe. That's what we do.
That's awesome. It's very exciting. Well, thank you for joining me today. This was great.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, thanks a lot.